adventures or Falcon holidays over the years? Yes, a number of you have. Wonderful. We take about 4,000 children and young people on holidays every year. Thankfully, not all at the same time. About 90 different holidays spread throughout the year. And they're an opportunity for young kids to come and have a fun holiday and hear about the God who loves them and has a purpose for their lives. Let me tell you a story about Sam and Joe. Actually, it's not their real names. They're aged 10 and 8. Sam and Joe are children who've lived with disadvantage from a very early age. They were taken into foster care quite young, and it was through their foster carer linked to a local church that they got to go on one of our Falcon holidays, which are holidays we run for children living with disadvantage. It was their first ever holiday they'd ever had in their lives. I was talking to the leaders of the holiday, and they were saying that, I think the phrase they used, Sam and Joe's behaviour in the first few days was somewhat challenging, I think was the phrase that they used. But after a few days, they settled into the holiday. They had an incredibly good time. They had people who loved them. They had loads of fun, lots of opportunity to do things they'd not done before, and also an opportunity to hear about a God who loved them, a God who cared for them, a God who had a purpose for their lives. At the end of the holiday, when they got off the bus and were given back, as it were, to the foster parent, they turned to the foster parent. The first thing they said was, "Can we go again, please, next week?" They'd had such a good time. And through that foster parent, they were linked into the local church, into a local young people's group, and are continuing to discover the good news at the heart of the Christian faith. Thank you, because your donation, your support of CPAS enables us to run holidays for kids like Sam and Joe. Thank you, because also your support enables us to develop leaders of churches around the country. And that's the bit of the work that I sort of look after. I have a team of 8 of us, and we work around the country trying to help church leaders think through, how do you do church in the sort of world we find ourselves in today? I was ordained 31 years ago, and it's a very different world today than 31 years ago. We're now into 4th generation non-church going. We have 4 generations of people who've had no contact with church whatsoever. How do you reach out with the good news of Jesus to people who have had no contact and no engagement with church? Well, that's what we try to help church leaders think through. And also how to make sense of the sort of realities of church leadership today. You're fortunate here, you've got one vicar, one church, but many vicars today have more than one church. They'll have 2, 3, 4, 5, some will have 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. I came across a vicar recently who had 25 parishes, 25 churches he was responsible for. That's a very different sort of job, isn't it? How do we make sense of that? And what we're longing to do is to grow and develop leaders of churches with a gospel heart, with a desire to help others hear and discover the good news of Jesus. We do that through courses, we do it through resources. Ian mentioned a book. We produce a whole variety of different things. Here's one resource we recently produced called PCC Tonight. Our mission is to make the PCC the best meeting anyone ever attends. And any of you on the PCC here? Yeah, a number of you. It's such an important group of people, because if the PCC is fun, faith-filled and fruitful, it helps the church be about gospel ministry in the communities that we're called to serve. So we do it in a whole variety of ways. Thank you, because your support enables us to equip and develop church leaders around the country. And then the third thing that we're involved in is this thing called patronage. It's a slightly strange Church of England thing, but just about every Anglican church has a patron who, along with the diocese and the church, is responsible for appointing the vicar. And we're actually patrons here. We're responsible for appointing Ian 15 years ago to the church here. So if you've got any complaints, we're the people you need to come to.
I wouldn't say that one in here.
No, I'm sure there wouldn't be any at all, Ian. None at all. So we're actually responsible for 525 churches around the country where we seek to appoint the vicar along with the diocese and the parish. The picture there is of Toby. Toby was recently appointed to a church which had been in decline for many years. It got really very small. And the bishop of the diocese said, "Toby, we're going to give this church one more vicar." And over the last 5 years, Toby's prayed faithfully, preached the gospel faithfully, loved people, worked hard, and by the grace of God, actually the church there has grown significantly. Children, young people, and women and men of every age have come to faith in Christ. Because his desire is that the church there isn't just inward looking, but it's outward looking as well. So others too may come to know the good news of Christ. Thank you, because your support enables us to appoint around 60 to 80 vicars a year in different churches around the country who've got a gospel heart and a longing to help people come to know Jesus. If you'd like to know more, there's this little leaflet I hope you received as you came in. If you didn't, there are some on the way out. And there's also some other little booklets and leaflets on the table in the lounge area, the coffee hall, where you can find out a little bit more about our work, or as ever, go online. But really, a big thank you from us. We're really grateful for your support that enables us to be about the work that we believe God has called us to, helping children and young people come to know Christ. Helping church leaders enable the church to be about gospel ministry in the world, and appointing vicars with a gospel heart. Thank you. We're very grateful.
Thanks, James. You did answer all my questions. That's brilliant. 25 churches, though. Where in the world's that? Lincoln. Gosh, I can't cope with one.